He's currently running against a guy that I have endorsed in his race. And Ted Lieu went after Sessions and said that he was basically a liar about Russia. Here was Sessions' response yesterday on the Hill.
I won't repeat it, Mr. Chairman, but I hope the congressman knows, and I hope all of you know, that my answer to that question, I did not meet with the Russians, was explicitly responding to the shocking suggestion that I, as a surrogate, was meeting on a continuing basis with Russian officials, and the implication was to impact the campaign in some sort of nefarious way. And all I did was meet in my office with the ambassador, which we didn't discuss anything like that. So I just want to say I appreciate the congressman's right. I guess he can say it's free speech. He can't be sued here. And so that's just my response.
So basically there's Sessions saying, you know, if I could sue you, I would, but there is a parliamentary immunity, so you can say whatever you want on the floor of Congress. Sessions then was asked by Trey Gowdy and Jim Jordan from Ohio why he was not setting up a Hillary special counsel. Again, I don't think Sessions is doing the wrong thing here. I think that just because Eric Holder politicized the Department of Justice and used it as a political weapon on behalf of Barack Obama, just because he called himself Obama's wingman and then went out and acted like it, doesn't mean that the DOJ can afford to have every attorney general be used as a baton by the administration. And I think Sessions is saying something true here. Here he was asked why he's not setting up a special counsel for Hillary, and here's his answer.
Well, Mr. Comey is no longer the director of the FBI.
Thank goodness.
We have an excellent man of integrity and ability in Chris Wray, and I think he's going to do an outstanding job, and I'm very happy about that.
He's not here today, Attorney General.
And I would
say,
say,
you are, and I'm asking for a special counsel.
The time of the gentleman
I would say
expired.
looks like is not enough basis to appoint a special counsel.
Okay, and that is the proper legal standard. Jeff Sessions is just doing his job. He takes an enormous amount of crap for it. But Sessions, on this particular issue, while the Democrats are ripping him for being unfair, Sessions is the one who basically appointed the special counsel, to investigate the 2016 election, and it was Sessions who right now is saying, listen, I need a legal standard in order for me to meet that legal standard. By the way, it's not like Sessions isn't doing his job. I mean, Sessions said yesterday that they are in full investigation mode against 27 separate leaks outside of the Trump administration. Here's what he had to say on that.
We had about 9 open investigations of classified leaks in the last 3 years. We have 27 investigations open today. We intend to get to the bottom of these leaks. I think it has reached epidemic proportions. It cannot be allowed to continue, and we will do our best effort to ensure that it does not continue.
You know, this is one of the things that people don't get about the Trump administration. You saw a bunch of Democrats who are going around saying Trump should be impeached. Bob Corker today. We should remove the ability for Trump to launch nuclear weapons. Outside of what Trump says, and the fact that no major legislation has been passed, when Trump leaves his department heads alone, what they do is not only within the normal bounds of political conduct, it is typically quite good. Jeff Sessions has been fine as the Attorney General, and all the crap he's had to take in order to do that is, I think, a foolish mistake on the part of people on the right and the left. Okay, time for some things I like and then some things that I hate. So things that I like this week, I've been encouraged by Andrew Klavan and by Michael Knowles, the execrable Michael Knowles. Sorry, did I say execrable? I meant incredible. To read this book, Poetic Diction by Owen Barfield. It is a supremely pretentious book, but it does have a lot of interesting things to say about what it is that makes poetry reach us and how human language has changed over time, and really how human understanding of the world has changed over time and has simultaneously enriched the variety of language while undercutting the innate richness of each word. So the sort of idea, the sort of thesis behind poetic diction is that a long time ago, when you look at words like ruach in the Bible, ruach means both wind and spirit. And so we have 2 words for that, right? We have wind and spirit. When you read old ancient books and you read the word ruach, it has a different sense, right? A sense of richness to it that neither wind nor spirit really does justice to, because it includes both. The reason for that, says Barfield, is because people perceived more meaning to be associated with the physical world than they necessarily perceive to be associated with the physical world today. And so we've been more specific with our language, but that specificity means that when we read the word wind now, it doesn't have the same impact as when we read older poetry. When you read Homer, it feels replete with a certain meaning that modern poetry just can't match, and that's because the language itself of the time was richer in content, if not in variety. So that's sort of the basic idea. It's an interesting book. I think that it has some really good insights about how language is used and how the use of it evolves over time. Okay, time for some things that I hate. All right, so thing that I hate, number one. So Joe Biden obviously wants to run for president again. I will be curious to see if there's any widespread media investigation of allegations that have been made by former Secret Service agents that he mistreated female Secret Service agents. Those have been alleged in a couple of places that I've seen. All of these allegations, I believe, should be hunted down and researched to the fullest extent. But Biden obviously wants to run for president again. He's making the rounds. He thinks he would have won last time. There's a poll out today that shows that Biden would beat Donald Trump if the election were held today 46-34, something along those lines. In a sort of normal Democrat versus Trump election, it would be something like 48-34. In any case, Biden is making the rounds. And he was asked specifically about the shooting in Texas, that recent church shooting in Texas. And he was asked, why would you want to remove the gun from the hands of the guy who stopped the church shooter, right? The Stephen Williford, the NRA former gun instructor hero who shot the bad guy. And here was Biden's response, which is truly insane.
Well, first of all, the kind of gun being carried, he shouldn't be carrying. Assault weapons are. I wrote the last serious gun control law that was written. It was law for 10 years, and it outlawed assault weapons and it outlawed weapons with magazines that had a whole lot of bullets, and so you can kill a whole lot of people a lot more quickly. Number one. Number two, it's just rational to say certain people shouldn't have guns. Now, the fact that some people with guns are legally able to acquire a gun and they turn out to be crazy after the fact, that's life. There's nothing you can do about that. But we can save a lot of lives, and we've stopped tens of thousands of people from getting guns who shouldn't have guns.
Well, including presumably the guy who shot the bad guy. So Joe Biden knows less about guns than virtually anyone else. I mean, this is a guy who said that you should shoot through the front door of your house with a shotgun, or you should go out on your balcony and you should blow a couple rounds. And it's just he's ridiculous. But you wonder why people think that the Democrats are gun grabbers. It's because of this. The question that preceded this answer was specifically about whether the shooter of the bad guy should have had a gun, and that was Biden's specific answer. Pretty amazing. Okay, other things that I hate. So Shannon Sharp, who has become a frequent contributor to things I hate, so I appreciate his presence, over on Fox Sports 1, he says he's praising Colin Kaepernick. So Colin Kaepernick was named the GQ Person of the Year, or Citizen of the Year, which makes perfect sense since he didn't vote, he doesn't speak publicly, he doesn't have much to say, and he wore socks that had cops depicted as pigs. Obviously, that is the Citizen of the Year. But Shannon Sharp says that Kaepernick will go down in history as a mythical civil rights figure.
Maybe Colin Kaepernick will never get the respect that he deserves for what he did. But I believe when it's all said and done, and history is written 30, 40 years from now, Colin Kaepernick will be looked upon as some of these mythical figures of the Dr. Kings, the Muhammad Ali's, and the Rosa Parks.
Okay, first of all, to compare Colin Kaepernick to Martin Luther King is utterly, abjectly insane. Okay, Martin Luther King not only provided a message that inspired millions of people, it was a uniting message. To compare him to Rosa Parks is also insane. Rosa Parks helped organize with the NAACP the legal pretext for ending legalized segregation in the United States. Nothing like that is occurring. So compared to Muhammad Ali, however, is a little bit different. Comparing him to Muhammad Ali actually is not too far off, because if you go back and you look at what Muhammad Ali was saying during the 60s and the early 70s, a lot of it was quite extreme, a lot of it